because he would talk to other people in other towns,
Yeah.
but he never showed up.
He never showed. Okay, so
So-
you were playing this like cold turkey,
Yeah,
no
because,
idea what. Okay.
you know, Dylan said, well, if you really, let's bring it to the town meeting, and I went, well, that'd be fine, let's go to the town meeting. But after I started talking to people, it was like, don't do that.
Well, I remember
I have
he had
issues
the old
with-
days, great regulations.
Many people I know dying again.
Literally, two selectmen show up
An easy way to break.
Interrupt
Can you
my
bring it
meeting
all down
and
there?
say, listen, you need to take this town meeting.
Maybe-
There's a lot of people.
Maybe-
that are gonna hate
maybe-
you. I
Yeah,
said,
but isn't it?
I am not in.
I think it's gonna get rid of
Listen,
the-
get out of my meeting.
Really, at this point, you know, we at least went to the
If
town.
that don't work, smoke weed.
This is
all
my
that I
feeling.
would've said to you.
June, next June, we just passed the ordinance.
That's fine.
You remember that? You ever popcorn lung?
They will-
It was like, I remember hearing
After a
about it.
year,
I
I
don't know
added
if there's
to
been
He's
much
saying,
to it.
yeah.
But I remember.
Because if we bring it to the town meeting again, it's never gonna
Like,
pass.
a big thing
Never done
that,
And I really think we should.
public health folk came against it was that it caused this condition called popcorn.
You know,
lung, which
But that's up to the board.
I may not be alive, let's say.
Like,
what,
we're literally like
35 or should be
popcorn and
But
then
anyway,
we're losing
I'll
your
try.
alveoli, so you're.
But
you're
let's say-
losing your lung.
you know, let's say
literal lung
20 years,
capacity.
so
But
yeah,
all that
totally
food
free
from the
generation.
bakery that you
I say
can
to
get.
myself,
Should've been the quick one.
That's a
and if you're a non-smoker and you know
Listen,
that
listen,
no
the thing
smokers
is, like,
everywhere, you don't have to figure out
Perfect
like, hey,
example is like.
on hazmat, so.
Right?
every-
There's
if I
all
had
this-
smokers
there's all
friends, I
this-
have one.
There's all this great stuff,
Around.
you know,
Cause I'm still
like,
gonna talk.
about, you know,
And
it does help
Upwind.
people, you know, but at the same time,
So
is the
smoke
human
with the other-
body designed
understand,
to
but it's
ingest
like
smoke?
dying. And I said, see, I can still talk to a
No.
smoker
Yeah,
and
that
not die from it.
No,
Yeah.
well, yeah, no, I'm
You
saying,
believe that nothing right
human,
non-smoking.
no matter how good it is, the human body
Yeah,
isn't designed to.
so-
Yeah, the other thing I didn't do is.
I don't care what you say, inhalation of smoke is gonna cause.
And in most of the
I'm
cities
not
and towns that pass it, the audience is mostly kids from the high school.
Until you ingest it. then
And
it'll help you
they
with something.
started saying it, that they were smoking and vaping in the bathroom and stuff.
They'll
And
keep you-
there's a lot of kids that don't like it.
What you gonna do?
So I should have had the whole,
But you think that would
I went,
affect
I used to,
They do.
I had a house book for.
Yeah,
enough.
because I think the kids would have brought their
Oh,
parents.
the kids would.
And I think it would have gone the other
Okay,
way.
got it, okay. I
To
didn't
Rick's
think
point,
The
we
kids
talked
didn't
about it
know that.
afterwards, was doing education instead. I think the perfect,
Listen to your elders.
Yeah,
This case,
like, way to go after it,
No,
it's
I-
the Bellingham High School football
everybody
team.
would.
If you-
Bellingham High School football team.
Sometimes if it's-
I remember like the football coach, like those kids, he turned that program around, and I was there.
Being
Like,
dead by
they're
his
steadily
body.
producing collegiate athletes compared to when I was there.
But see, I think at
Yeah.
this point. if I-
So like,
Okay.
I think
I
that,
think if the.
cause I know
Big
tobacco.
a lot of the kids that like
Yeah.
were frustrated about vaping are like athletes, they're like, they're in clubs and stuff, and they're like,
Okay.
they're in clubs, they don't wanna get in trouble.
Just call for water.
Okay, okay, give me 2 seconds,
Okay.
I gotta get Laura in here.
Make the motion to accept the meeting. But I don't-
Yeah. But I don't think
Okay.
anything that I was gonna
There you go,
say.
so.
Oh, it was,
Change any of
what it
the
was
time.
not.
No.
I think we knew that up front.
Back checker?
Yeah,
Video.
that's why I said, my wife was like.
I was inhaling the water.
I'm not saying-
I'm gonna be-
I knew where it was going.
So I full thought people like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're live on ABM.
Hello.
Okay.
We're on?
Yep.
Hold on. Okay. Being 7 o'clock, I'd like to open the meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health for June 17th, 2025. Myself, Ben Forty, Chair, Vice Chair, Rick Gilberti, Member. Richard Montanelli, Member. Elena Almeida, Member Deborah Bush. Agent Dylan Labonte, Minutes Clerk Laura Allen. And the public's welcome. Okay, first order of business is minutes from
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes for May 27th, 2025 as typed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, so carried, great. Done. Okay, new business is Silver Lake Aquatic Treatment. Dylan, you wanna lead in on that one first?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was trying to make it look a little bit better, but whatever.
Then I have a few other comments.
So Silver Lake Aquatic Treatment. So Vinny made me aware of a regulation,
Hold on a second.
Yes, so.
it's from that.
Can we turn that down?
Yeah,
I think 2 seconds, sort of like back on. Try that.
I think if I just
Anybody else?
shut this for now, that should hopefully.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's because it's playing once.
Is it
the
delayed? It's
It's
off,
slightly delayed,
slightly delayed.
All right.
so,
So it is off, okay.
sorry.
No, that's all right.
But go ahead, Bill.
Just confirm.
So Vinny made me aware earlier this week about a regulation from 1998, that basically identifies a couple things that the Board of Health need to know prior to any sort of aquatic treatment that is done, on any of the lakes. We have two public lakes here, one being Silver Lake, the other being Arcan Park in South Bellingham.
And Lake Iowa,
That LOA.
LOA,
Yep, they own it.
Association.
so they are.
They're a lake association, so,
However, they do fall in this regulation.
No, they don't.
no, they
We
don't.
don't- we
They're,
don't.
it's a lake association, they
Oh,
own
Lake
it.
Association.
So,
Okay, Right.
So with this, basically what we've discovered was that there's some notification, requirements involved with this regulation that were not
Going.
done, this year. I think it was something along the lines of, the company that is doing the treatment has to tell us in writing 45 days prior to proposed date of treatment. They have to give us information, MSDS on
Right.
the chemicals, basic information such as name of water body, location, all that fun stuff. And then, let's see,
they're within 7 days.
and within 7 days, they also have to notify townsfolk and they have to make postings about how throughout the treatment, the water can't be used for swimming or fishing or boating or any sort of aquatic activities. And basically, like I said, the issue that has been happening is that this hasn't been happening.
Did they
They
do
haven't
it
been
last year?
really
I don't think
notifying
they
us.
did.
I don't think they notified us last year either. So they haven't notified us. We haven't
So who
enforced this.
pays for these people to come in?
I don't know if it's the Parks Department or if
I
it's
think it's
the,
Parks.
or if it's conservation, because Hannah from conservation, she's been the one who like scheduled it, but I think the actual funding would come from the Parks Department.
Right. But just to let something to add in, this is normally to be done before there's any swimming. And at the end of the season, if they miss the thing, they're in here saying they're doing it on the 19th. And there's no notice. I found it on Facebook, some lady posted it, I was furious, I went berserk. Now, if I hadn't noticed it, nobody would have known. So what we would have had is a totally illegal treatment.
So who does the notifications?
I believe the company
The company.
would have to notify us.
Conservation.
Who would tell the company they have to notify?
Conservation.
Conservation, I believe.
I think Board of Health.
Well,
Well,
Board of Health would be the one, because we're the ones enforcing this regulation.
Right.
So we
But
would.
conservation hires a company.
No, but
they
we,
have to
but we would have to make known what our position is, where we would say,
These are the regulations
These are the
that you
regulations.
have to do.
Conservation would be the one to notify the Board of Health that this is gonna be done.
yeah.
Because they're the
I
one that
think-
hired the
I
company.
think we have the last word and as far as where.
We do,
Yeah.
we actually have to issue an order to allow it to happen.
If we're
It's part of
notified,
that regulation.
Okay, I have a question. If you don't do it at this point on the 19th, will it go till the fall so that we don't
Yes.
lose our summer with the kids?
Correct.
And I
Well,
think-
no, the other thing is, we have other issues. that
No,
we could-
no,
No, go ahead.
time out. You're saying if we don't treat it
Right,
because of this issue.
Yeah.
Will we lose out on the summer due to the aquatic vegetation?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because all the
All those-
stuff won't be dead.
Yeah.
How about
Well,
we,
with the rain-
that system that we suppose we got $35,000 a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago when it first came on board, to put that,
Fountain,
Fountain.
that would help a lot.
what, I mean,
That would probably
why,
help.
I mean,
That would help.
I'm
I don't see
don't
why
like
not.
chemicals.
Right.
So for me, if you can do it by moving the water
Correct.
instead, because this
Yeah.
whole thing is because it's stagnant
I
water.
think it's still gonna grow, some of the plants in the water that
The
this.
anaerobic-
Cause the issue
That this is gonna-
is, if you look at kind of an overview of Silver Lake, that front section.
Yeah.
Where you're able to really swim and boat when you pull up to the lake, that's the section you're viewing, that is moving water. However,
Yeah.
You wrap around the back end,
Right.
stagnant.
Right. So
There's
if you-
no motion.
so when you put a pump system like we talked about, and you have that fountain in there with pretty colors, because they've mentioned wanting lighting, so put the 3 different color lights in it for them. And you have that water moving every night, every day, whatever, for a certain amount of time, I don't know, based on the volume of the lake.
Yeah,
And then you move the water, once you move in the water, I believe that most of this will go away. I don't know for sure, but I would
To
think
add
that,
to Richard's,
I know
'cause-
that you go to a river, and in a river, you don't have a lot of stuff growing, you get some algae,
moving water, yeah.
but then you usually get what's called the.
The only
sucker
ones
fish.
will grow are the phytoplankton that are aerobic, they're the surface ones. But the ones below, which is the milfoil and the other ones,
Right.
those are anaerobes. So they don't use, they chlorophyll, they don't produce that oxygen that we get. They produce something else, I forget what it is. But that's what causes it. It's a, how do we say it? It's a, what's it
I
called?
think if anything,
Yeah, but
if we
cycle,
wanted
I mean, I
to, if
think
we
we
wanted
push-
to hypothesize this, I agree that maybe we push that, because that would be a non-chemical treatment, but I also think. Not for nothing, we'd have to move, cause the previous theory on the fountain was to put it close to the swimming area.
Right.
I think if
For
the,
sure.
you could either put 2, or you could put it over in the, towards the back end, so that way it's moving
Yeah.
that water
But if
too.
we're gonna do that now, and they came in the fall after the season had closed and treated it at fall.
Well, I don't think we'd be able to even, not for nothing, I think they wouldn't even really, it wouldn't make sense for them to do the project until the fall, like if they're installing the fountain, because they
Right,
probably,
You won't get it done this year.
yeah, we, like,
It'll be
they have to
end
shut
of
down the
season.
lake, so they would do it during the off season, so I
What
mean,
they should be doing.
yeah, so. I don't see any issue
Now, do
with
we
it.
need to go to capital improvements for that, or is it?
I thought we already had it approved,
Oh, we did, okay, I didn't.
I thought we just was going to approve with Dennis, not town administrator. I mean, I could be
We
wrong.
never,
Maybe we discussed it,
we discussed it,
Okay.
I never got like 100% confirmation, because it was like,
because he's the one that brought the colors.
we discussed it and he said it was a good idea, we just never
So at this
actually.
point, we want them to come in and do it so that we have a swimming season for the
Yeah.
summer.
Yes,
But there
But
has
we're
to
gonna
be.
revisit it in the fall.
Right,
and we're gonna make sure that they properly notify us for the fall
Right.
treatment.
Right, and what we'll do is,
And
we'll
so
they're
we will
gonna
send
do it
them a
again.
copy.
Why don't we, I'd like to make a motion that we look into putting into capital improvements in the November meeting 2 fountains
Yep.
okay.
for Silver Lake.
second,
One other question about, what, not about that, about them doing
Well,
this.
let's
we
do
have to
the
do a
motion.
motion first.
I'm sorry.
So, second,
Y'all-
okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstains, so carried, perfect, okay. Back to the audit.
Now, if you're saying to
issue.
go forward with them, allowing them to.
Yeah,
do this
because if
now,
we don't, there won't be any swimming for
it's
the summer.
understandable, but the problem that I have with the chemicals that they're gonna be putting in, they're toxic.
They're very good.
And they're giving you a line here on when you could be drinking and cooking and everything like that. My problem is swimming, no restrictions.
Cool.
You put chemicals in a pool, even in a pool or whatever, and you put a
We-
young kid in there. First thing they do is open their mouth when they go underwater and they inhale some of that stuff.
It says swimming, no
No
restrictions?
restrictions under boating, fishing and swimming.
And I have a
And if you're
theory.
gonna, and irrigation, they're saying that if you put the irrigation on food plants and stuff like that, it could be harmful. So if you're gonna go all the way down to the 24th of June with this, why not have them test the water to make sure it's safe for those people to even be going in there?
Is the water tested, if I'm not mistaken? Don't
The
we-
wall for E. coli and total coli.
But
Right,
they
so you
should,
do
with
pH
something like this, they should
Govern-
be taking a pH.
When you go there, you can do swimming pool testing.
Yeah, but no, that's won't pick this up. This stuff is
I'm
total.
not saying for
It's a
that,
herbicide.
really.
But they should know what you can do to test this,
Right.
if it's.
And they should actually be honest with you. We can say that.
So,
I'd
you
like
will
to know
test
who
the
came up
water.
with these
so
dates.
we're closing, I'm gonna take it that.
Well,
Lake
well,
from-
it actually, it was supposed to already have been done.
Till the 24th.
This got pushed back. This was
With-
supposed to have already been done.
Cause I think you get the sticker from, you can get a sticker now.
This, but like Hannah told me this was already pushed back because of some other issue. I think not her, someone failed to post the first one.
Right.
And so because of that, they had to cancel the first one, reschedule it,
Right.
properly post it.
But you know, their failure to do something is
But
not,
they still didn't,
But they still.
Notify
didn't
us.
follow through,
it's
you
not
know.
gonna allow us to relieve our public
exactly,
health threat. This is, it's not a case where your, how did we say it, your poor planning is now my
This,
emergency.
this,
No way.
this could be totally safe, but you can't take that chance.
Can't
with
say it's something.
people's lives and
If you
everything.
drink some,
What
no
is
problem.
social
I
people
mean, the minute you say that, you're,
If it's, if they do it on the 19th, it's only 5 days later, they're
it's
done.
not much,
Yeah,
but either.
but I think, should we analyze
I
that?
use these chemicals, you know, I mean, you're a chemical guy.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I mean, I'll tell you all about
You know,
fuel oil.
okay, you know, I reviewed they're no longer called material safety data sheet because it's international, you know. Global harmonizing system, GHS. Okay, so the GHS is the reverse of the MSDS. MSDS goes for health, fire, reactivity, 1 through 4. Global harmonizing goes from 7 to 1. So if you have a 7, it's basically not harmful.
Who tests this
Well,
in 5 days?
that's what I'm saying. I think the company should do it. They're the ones that know what they're putting in. Let them come up with the company. Because Dylan, did you ask Rhode Island Analytical if they could tap this stuff?
But if they're giving you the dates that this is gonna be
We didn't have the MSDS,
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Thursday.
whatever. So that's the other thing too. Not
If
providing
they're gonna give you
materials
the
saying
dates that
GHS
say that this is
GHS is
okay,
to the Board of Health
then how?
is clearly a
Okay,
violation.
that's
we know
okay.
that?
That means
We don't know.
we don't
what they're
even
putting
act
in
on it.
there,
We just say,
the
and by the way, we
amounts,
needed that stuff
everything.
45 days ahead. Because
So that's all guesswork.
in the old
I
days.
know, but if the company didn't know that,
So it's like-
I don't know how we can.
They're trying to
Well-
get rid of some of the weeds that are in there.
Conservation knew about it.
They kind of
just
just
didn't do
pour.
If the company didn't know about it, it's on the town of Bellingham, it's not on the board.
If I
Correct.
remember.
No, what I'm saying
That's
is,
how they did.
it doesn't mean the town of Health says, okay, sorry, you didn't know about the regulation. You can do anything you
Turtles
want.
were dying.
You're not saying that, right?
It's
So the
crazy.
alternative is that no one's gonna be able to swim.
For 5 days.
So that, I don't
That's
have.
it.
This
treating-
far, like if we don't do the treatment.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying we don't do the treatment. I'm saying we do it. But I'm saying,
I'd just like to know why these.
even if we don't analyze, we maximize the potential that this water will be safe in 5 days.
And this is
And
the
other than that,
I'm fine with it.
I am not
All
gonna
right,
go
so
with.
I'll
swim.
make a motion that we allow them to do the treatment, but we wanna require them to do testing after 5 days.
Yes.
Second.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
That
Aye.
has to be.
I don't know,
Just a
cause I don't know what the
Right, can we
contract
try that?
says,
Right,
that conservation issue.
They might.
I,
have that-
I have a
just
problem
protecting
with conservation issuing this.
PMA,
It should be us.
I agree.
this is PMA. You're
Yeah.
protecting your bump.
Right.
We're protecting this board, but.
I'm not doing it to protect us.
No,
I'm doing it to protect the town.
That's only on.
And I don't think the Conservation Commission should be in charge of this.
I think the reasoning is because of the wetlands.
Wetlands.
The wetlands and
A
the
lot of,
jurisdiction.
lot of municipalities,
For-
their
But
beaches are.
the consequences is a health issue.
Yes.
So I don't think they should be involved other than paying for it.
Right.
We should issue the
Let me
contract.
finish the thing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Things will carry. I agree with Rick.
I don't think they
Going
should be
forward,
involved
I
in it
think
other
we
than
should-
paying.
We should take it this, the bull by the horns. We don't even have to worry about regulation. We know what it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell them. You're approved to
I mean,
do it.
we're already the ones regulating it, I don't see.
Correct.
Well,
Right, so you
We're
get the rights to do
The
it.
problem is, we're regulating it, but they're not following our regulations.
No, exactly.
So they shouldn't be involved other than paying for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand
You know, I'm
conservation.
gonna
They
price-
own wetlands.
because
we
they're
never
gonna make
thought of
sure
it.
that,
But-
the whole-
No, but it
that's
makes
not
sense to
gonna
me.
die. I understand that.
I think
But I'm more
maybe
concerned about the health
they
of
would need to be
people.
involved because
would
of
be
the
involved.
wetlands.
No,
They're the
don't
ones who would have the
involve.
final say.
I think they should pay for it.
That's
Yeah.
what the regulations say.
But I don't think they should give out the contract. I
No,
think
I
we
agree.
should
We
give
should.
out the
Yeah,
contract.
Right.
I agree.
Because we'll tell them, these are our regulations, 45 days.
Correct. You will
5
send us
days.
MSDS's or GHS's.
Yeah.
All right, and I'd like to make a motion that we amend the regulations for, the, what's it called?
Global harmonizing system. is-
Okay, I make a motion that we add in, the company will test twice,
Okay.
after 5 days and after 30 days.
Second,
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed,
Aye.
abstained, so carried. Okay.
I
All
like
right, I
that.
think that it's important we get something in there that,
Right,
and
right.
that we're responsible.
I
So at
agree.
least with the regulations, the Board of Health has the final say, so
Right.
this is gonna be a joint.
This is like
Between all the parties.
passing
The
out final
contractor
say
or the company included that's
Yeah.
gonna be hired should be here
Correct.
in front of the Board of Health,
Eventually,
Conservation, and whoever else is involved. Discussing this whole thing.
So
and how
somebody
it's
else asked me, is this the first time, Dylan, do you know if this is the first time this company been involved? 'Cause it's not the old company of 1998. That
Oh,
guy
I'm sure.
came here, and he was not happy with me, but
keep
I
it.
said, you know what? You will
Thank
not.
Well, and I think the company needs to show up and tell us.
Because we produce this regulation, sort of like the cat already escaped, you know. When two people were into the hospital, and I get a call at night that they're being held over because they got chemical burns, and it occurred in Lake Hiawatha, and I'm going like, you know, there's a doctor going, so what are you gonna do about this? I said, I don't know. I said, I'll get to the people in the morning, so in the morning, we went and did an
So
investigation.
my other question is the water open now for public to go to?
Yeah.
And how do we stop that
Put up signs,
until the 5
you
days?
put up signs,
Correct.
Well, something will
Both,
have to be
both.
done if this
the
notification.
DPW would go out and
They'll
put up
have
the
to
signs, they
put
only
They
go.
put saw horses, so they can still use.
What I
Call that
do,
thing the,
is I basically do the same thing that I did last year when we had to shut down because the.
right, you put
IE
saw horses in
So
front.
we'd have several sawhorses that I set up all along the beach that says absolutely no swimming.
Right.
Like
We
there's
had the E. coli.
no
right?
swimming, no blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we should
Board of
definitely
Health
get
order.
that done.
Where is this notification? Was this something that's hanging down there?
Not for nothing, I don't know if that's actually down there, or if that was just posted,
Notification.
or if that was just like put on socials
It
on.
was on
that day,
social media by some lady, and I went through her
You know what I'm
website.
saying, like, I don't
There's a
know if
regular
that was
lady in
like,
Bellingham, I guess.
If this is the one that did this, how are they gonna notify, did they notify the people on the lake?
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the other thing, who, Rick, that add insult to injury. They're supposed to notify people who have wells, because right here it says, no drinking or cooking until 6:22.
Well, we can do a reverse 911 if we have to.
Right,
Not
We
everybody's
should.
connected to
we
that.
should, but the other question is.
But
we
it-
should-
Oh, no, everybody in town that has a phone is
Oh,
connected.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, everybody in town that has a phone.
Beautiful.
is-
Even a cell phone, it works. It does.
you have to, if you have a cell phone, you have to sign up.
Oh,
As
yeah,
long as they have the
okay.
number.
Yeah, I'm
As
not,
long as they
I have
have
a
the number,
landline,
they'll
but
do
I
it.
don't know how many people have landlines.
if everybody that has a landline gets a notification.
Yes.
Yeah,
So Dylan, I would
Right.
suggest that we, for our purposes for next year, I need to know who has a well around that lake.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's what I think so.
But-
so at
I
this
think the whole
point,
lake
I
does
think the
too.
whole lake is out well.
I think it is. So this is scary, that people don't know. This, I'm sure, I never saw this last year, but it was by chance. I saw
so
it.
should we have,
I think
should we have the Conservation Commission do the 911 reverse call, or should it be us?
I think we should do it.
Let them do it.
Oh, let them do it, okay.
Well, that,
What does
that's
the
the,
board feel?
This
well,
year,
that's the
let them
question,
do it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't mind
think we
doing
should
it
do
because I'm comfortable with the reverse 911 system. I don't know that Hannah ever has.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should do it.
So
anyway.
I have the
If we want
login,
help.
I know how to
If they
use
help
it,
us.
I've done it before. I can do it, or I could show her how to do it.
I
And
think
the
the
sixth
first
one
thing
might have
tomorrow
to-
morning, Dylan, you need to talk to her. And inform her of what's going on here.
Oh,
No, I understand, but it
She is
should be
aware
the
now,
first
'cause I was
thing in the
all over
morning.
Dylan. Sorry.
And I hate to put that on you, but I think it's that important
Right.
that she
She
get
jumped in.
involved immediately. We need a copy of the contract
Correct.
that they submitted to this company.
Right.
And I'd like to see who signed it,
Yeah. So, well,
because they're not following any of our regulations. Which they should be. Whether at DPW or whether the Conservation Commission.
the only other thing in this message by that lady. Somehow the DPW concurred, okay, we'll do something for you. We'll.
That one I don't have. Where is that?
Oh, that should have been everybody's fault. I made sure Laura gave it to everybody.
Read that.
I paid it.
Basically,
There's no guarantee or warranty.
After the-
Still,
Yeah,
this is.
right.
they don't-
I had to put it in today.
that,
because
none of this.
I was sure you said already.
Maybe.
This splash pad is closed.
This splash pad could remain open because they use town water for that. Oh, why? Okay, no, we don't know. Dylan, do you know why the splash, that can be remained open?
Okay, this one,
The splash,
but yet,
the splash pad is currently closed because I believe that they are repairing
this tells you that, they're not even sure.
the ground.
The ground, okay.
When's that gonna be done?
But, so
I don't know, that was approved of, they talked about that in the town meeting, that
Oh,
was,
they
a-
did? Okay.
I think the funds,
I don't wanna see.
I think that was the one where the funds were approved in the fall, but they had to use them before the end of the year.
Right.
Playground.
Well, the playground is part of the splash pad, I think, right? That
I
was the
thought
playground.
The elementary school, the splash pads at Silver Lake.
Oh,
No, two separate things,
I know.
two separate things, cause the I know, cause I know what you're talking about, that came up later at the
Oh,
meeting.
that was a different.
That was
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
different thing. This is the splash pad, they got the money approved, but they had a time limit on it.
And
And
by
they
December
couldn't,
31st, so
they
they
couldn't do the job before then, so they used that money on a different project and had to reallocate the money again.
At town meeting.
So that way they can actually do the project.
November approved it, but then they couldn't do it December. The money went away. They used it for something else. They didn't waste it. And then we have to reapprove it in May.
So that
that
they
was
can
the
do the
first one.
project.
The second one
Yeah.
was the playground issue.
And now this is DPW.
Oh, really?
So that, yeah, this is who put this out on Facebook. Bellingham Department of
No,
Public
it was
Works.
Jennifer Nieber. Rising contributor. She was the one who put it out.
Yeah.
Department of Public Works was after her. This was up here. Her name here was up here. The way I copied it messed it up. Sorry, but I couldn't fit it in my printer without resizing it. So it took her name and number, her wherever she is, Bellingham Unplugged. Instead of being up here, put it after Public Works. And then it did say Silver Lake will be closed on 19th while Lake is being treated. This will be allowed entrance. Not allowed in the entrance. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to take.
They're gonna walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which is
fine. So we just have maintain that locked area since the splash pad's not working. Unless people really want the playground through to the 19th, to the 24th.
I mean, not for nothing.
Playground, the kids are going to the water.
Not for nothing,
Maybe 90
there's nothing
degrees.
wrong with Arcan Park, just go down to Arcan Park.
Correct, yeah, right. It's not treated.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Why don't we do that? too?
There's
It's
no,
part of the 911.
like, we can literally tell everyone, there is a giant parking lot
Right,
that plenty of cars can fit in.
right.
And you can still go swim down at Arcan,
Right.
it's just the body of water itself is physically smaller, that's
It's
the only
smaller, yeah,
downside.
Small.
And there's no lifeguards.
Well, Silver Lake got lifeguards all the time.
Silver Lake now is going to have they are now lifeguards that are town employees.
Okay.
They used to be the YMCA, but
Okay,
they're like
okay, because they used to do swim tracks.
contractual conflicts, they can't do it anymore.
Right,
So in order to have a permanent lifeguard there, they hired a town lifeguard, and I think they're actually starting this week, if they didn't start like tomorrow.
okay. Well, they can go all the way till June 19th and then they can't go in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they actually can sit there and make sure nobody goes in the water.
I
Yeah,
get it.
it's like that, you
Yeah,
got
I
people
know.
like that, they can sit there.
I pay a lifeguard to be a police
Absolutely,
officer.
make sure kid doesn't go in
I love
there.
it.
have no
But
problem.
Dylan, I still would barricade it because
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
It's, you know, first of all, they don't read the signs. So
And then,
maybe
Well,
the
I'm not
barrier.
sure we wanna pay for a police officer.
No, I'm saying.
the
lifeguard.
neighbors,
I'm calling them.
At $60 an hour.
Notified.
No, what I'm saying is I'm calling
okay,
lifeguard.
because they can't fish,
Richard said, let him sit there, make sure nobody
they
goes to the water.
can't, they can't eat the
Yeah.
fish, they can't, they can't.
But we
go
pay.
walking in your houses.
We pay the lifeguard.
I mean, I understand, we have our area
What do we call it?
that we're gonna
Yeah,
charge them,
pays him.
but if you're gonna treat.
Dylan, who pays the
lake,
town lifeguard if he's a town employee? After
town.
hours pay?
no,
The town, okay.
I don't know,
I wanna
I
make
don't know
motion.
how they did it, if they like cut a person into parks, or,
Right,
I honestly don't know.
okay.
All I know is that they hired a town person because the Y can't do it.
I wanna make a
That's-
motion that we notify everybody around that lake,
Correct.
that this is gonna be done, and we physically send them out a letter. This is 2 days, it's gonna be quick, because some of these people have cell phones and not landlines anymore, they're not gonna receive the 911. Reverse 911, so we can give them a one of these
All of these, yeah.
at the door, and we'll put them
Yeah.
in charge of that.
We have to modify this.
To
This
let
is,
them know that the kids cannot swim,
right,
and it's for those 5 days, or they can't eat the fish.
right.
Because I
already
mean,
have
if
it.
I lived on that lake and let's say I have my grandkids coming over this week, I mean, nice, supposed to
Yeah.
be nice,
Right.
towards the end of the
I'm
week.
gonna double check with Hannah when I have this conversation first thing
Right.
tomorrow.
Did you do the right?
Whether or not, I'm gonna double check whether or not folks have already been notified, because I'm not sure what sort of notification he's done besides this. Cause I would think that considering this is Thursday, that she's done more notification than that.
I hope.
But if this was a
So,
delay,
finally, do the motion,
if this was a delay.
I made the motion there,
Okay.
make sure that happens.
Time
Okay.
to. Yeah,
Okay.
second.
Young lady seconded.
All those in favor say aye. I opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay. So Dylan, you can do the 911. The only problem with this notification is the word swimming is in the no restrictions. And Richard brought a point up. I don't know if people, personally, if you look at the Massachusetts Registry of Lakes, Ponds, Waterways, it's catch and release for everything because of highly toxic materials in fish.
Yeah.
So you eat fish in any, even including the Quabbin Reservoir, which you have to have a special permit. It's catch and release.
No
because-
one's eating fish out of there.
I hope
We should
not.
still tell them, but no one's eating fish out of there.
Okay, good.
You?
No, but I'm gonna tell you that we have a lot of people that don't speak English very well,
Oh,
that do eat fish out of there.
yeah.
Out of, because right across, and I can't.
No, you
find-
got a point.
I know for a fact of
Yeah.
kids that go there, I've seen a 7-pound bass taken and released. And a little notch made in it, and that same fish got caught a week later and it's caught.
Right.
Okay, and I know for a fact, my son's the one that caught the fish first week and we notch him.
Right.
We weigh him and notch him, let him go, and somebody caught that fish and took pictures of it and ate the fish.
Okay.
So
So.
if the fish
Both
not to
the-
be,
just
we
for
should,
purpose
we
of
should-
Silver Lake, Ockham Park, Lake
Oh.
Hiawatha, high levels of mercury, high levels
we
of
should,
lead
that should be posted,
and other cadmium, other metals.
that
So,
should be posted.
Heavy metal poisoning is the reality. It's cumulative. So if you eat more fish, you
Are
get
you-
more.
Are there any
And-
signs posted there? about
No, it's
not
on the state
fishing?
registry. Unfortunately, that's the way the state of Massachusetts does it.
So what you have
Yeah,
to do
well,
is
if-
post.
The
your
Water
own
Health
signs.
used to get a
So
list of
we're
everything.
responsible for our.
I know, so
right?
guess what? Until someone sends that same thing, because it's supposedly you can't hand out information I might have from 10 years ago. You need something from the state saying, this is the policy, and it lists all the lakes and ponds. You pick out Norfolk County, you pick out Bellingham, Mass. And then maybe we should send something out saying, listen, state says it's catch and release. Because the Department of Public Health and the Department of the other thing, services says the fish are toxic.
Why don't we just put up signs?
I was gonna say,
Well, we
even
do-
though
yes.
people.
I already
Make a motion that we put up signs
Okay.
saying, don't eat the fish.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
Okay, just so you know, it was the Bellingham Department of Public Works put this out on June 10th.
June 10th, okay, fine,
Silver Lake will be closed on June 19th.
okay,
Once the work is finished, the playground will be open to visitors.
okay, fine.
She took it and redid it again.
We
and
did,
Sent it out,
okay, that's what,
but that's what the board did.
okay.
I'm reading it right off of Bellingham.
So there, you know, we, DPW.
Why I didn't
look
see
at
this.
Yeah,
You know,
that is 7 days. It was posted on the 10th,
right, right,
cause it's.
Yeah, the 19th is when they're doing it, and this is the 10th, so 9
right.
days.
However, the 45 days to get us an MSDS and stuff like that.
Yes.
There is, you know, I'm gonna put it this way here, unless someone, I do know, one of the DPW guys is, has not qualified. I don't know if he maintained it, but he used to be on the board of health. I don't know how many people in this town, that's another thing, Dylan and I think, you and I are going to take the 40-hour waste thing. That way there, we could actually clean something up, which we will never do. But at least if we're going to refer company, whether it's local or that, saying, listen, we've evaluated it, our assessment is, this is a ticking time bomb, it needs to be cleaned up. Usually when we have an oil spill, it's easy, fire department, board of health, we both say, we're gonna give it to DEP because it's a release.
Yeah,
But if it's not a release and it's internalized, no one knows about it. By the way, I have another thing. Do you know who issues the permit for underground storage tanks? Guess who?
Fire department.
Nope. That's where I thought it would come from. Or Board of Health. Nope.
conservation.
Town clerk. I think that needs to get vaporized.
Okay, I'm gonna bring back your underground oil,
Storage tanks, yes.
definitely the fire, listen to me.
Fire department is definitely involved.
Definitely, if I wanna put a storage tank.
They
in your
absolutely
backyard,
What is she issuing a permit for?
I
Says
have no
under-
idea.
USDs, I only
They
understand,
can't, maybe a water tank, it's definitely not fuel oil, fuel oil.
but
is
even a
definitely
water
not-
tank, that should come from Board of Health, Plumbing Department.
Okay, that's,
Excuse me, National Services.
well, you have to ask her what kind of tank there,
Okay,
because I know for a fact.
Little off topic.
okay, I know, it's all.
Real bad.
Sorry, okay, so, we're set with Silver Lake treatment?
Yeah, hold on,
Still,
hold on.
yeah, okay, good.
Next one.
Next item, Rick Gilberti, tobacco agent updates. How we doing, Rick?
I'm waiting for the, first of all, we lost at the, town meeting.
Right.
The,
The people voted against it,
people voted not to approve.
Was
Our,
it 70 vote difference or something like that, whatever.
yeah, it was about 70 votes. So at this point, if we just let it go for now.
Yep.
Great.
We can revisit it in the future.
Right.
The second thing is I have my, appointment on July 2nd with somebody from the, State Tobacco Commission coming out to do a, an inspection. I'll be doing the inspection. She'll be there helping me saying, you need to say this. She can't actually do the inspection because we don't have a memorandum of understanding
MOU.
with the, tobacco
Should be,
consortium. We should.
we should.
So at this point, I'm talking to a second person in the office to get me what the memorandum says.
Right.
And it's a Board of Health approval.
Right.
And
Perfect.
once we approve it, we're part of the consortium.
Right.
We can also get grant money if we need it.
I think we should do that. That's
And
it.
I do too, but let me get the paperwork.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yep.
Are there any, what are like the pros versus cons of being in it versus not being in it? Like, is there really anything positive about not being in
Taking
it?
numbers, how do I say it, you
Well,
don't have to go it alone.
We'd be part of a group that everybody is on the same page in the
Totally.
group. When something happens, the group gets notified. The ones that don't have a memorandum are not notified.
Totally.
It's like Region 2, we're part of that.
We might get it 6 months from now if I take a training or we take training.
It'll discover.
They'll tell us about it, but I think we need to know about stuff. And they can't tell us unless we're in the memorandum of understanding, which I guess it don't make sense to me.
But this is the way everything works.
Everybody should be notified as soon as everybody, you know, but they don't do it that way.
I mean, I'm with you. If that's.
There's also no group that's just tobacco agents in the state.
Okay,
So there's not like a group that has, like an email will go out to the group. They don't have that.
yes,
They have this consortium and it's because of, state money.
okay.
It's funneled into the group.
Probably a bigger group, maybe.
Well, it's a much bigger group. I think there's 26 or 28 right now in the consortium.
Okay.
We're just not in it. So
I agree.
that's another thing that our old tobacco agent should have been involved with and was. So we're moving forward.
Right.
As soon as I go through my first inspection, I'm gonna start dumping them right out. I'm just gonna get them done.
Sweet.
She told me the best time to do it is at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because they're not that busy.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
opened for the day. It's not crazy. We don't have the rush hour in the morning. We don't have lunch. And she said it takes about an hour.
Okay.
To do a proper check. So I can get, in 5 days, I can get 5 out of the way.
Easily.
So I can get the 27 out in 5 weeks is what I'm hoping to do. And I'll get them all done before September,
Sweet.
which is then we'll start with the kid undercover.
Sweet.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Rick's also got all of his signage and stuff that.
Oh, and I did, I ordered signage, and I got a box of it.
So we're
in
gonna
the
get everyone
office.
up to date on signage, make sure everyone's. all
Good,
set
yeah,
with
because
that,
I'm
so
sure it
looks good.
changes. Probably.
And I
probably
know
wasn't on
when
it.
I go into stores myself, with not inspecting, but just walking in and buying stuff, nobody's following the regulations.
Yeah, no,
didn't know that before, now.
Now I know.
Now
it.
you know.
When I walk in, if they
Yeah.
don't have the signs up, I know right away there's a problem.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we'll get all on the same page in the town.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for
Well, I'm
tobacco.
assuming the signs that used to say 18 now say 21. I hope
Oh,
everybody.
yeah,
knows.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, they all,
They
oh
can't
my
be that
gosh, yeah.
crude. Okay.
No, that's too old.
Yeah, I know, I'm just, thinking.
and I will say this, I went into a store up by Larry's that, it's the gas station.
Oh, mobile.
No,
No.
the other one, it used to be Merit, and then it was, Hess. But,
Oh, yeah, I know.
well, I was in there getting something for, some milk.
Yeah.
A guy came in, and I thought he was a little young looking, they carded him, which I was impressed.
Perfect, good.
He wanted Marlboros in the box and they carded him, and he was legitimate, so I actually was impressed.
That's awesome.
It's good. At least you didn't see the opposite.
No. But see, at that point, I would have stopped it right then and
Correct.
there, and I would have said that's a violation.
Right.
Yeah.
Save the person.
Yeah, even though I might not do the inspections yet, I know what the rules are, so that's where we are with tobacco.
Sweet.
Okay,
Thank
so, health agent updates. Thanks, Rick.
That's you, Vinny.
Okay, so, I guess Dylan will be out 24, 25, and 26.
Yeah, so
I
we've
will
already
cover for Dave.
scheduled a couple,
We'll cover for Dylan then, sorry.
or actually, no, we were going to schedule a perk test, but we already talked about that.
Yeah, the 27th.
So yeah, if anything comes up, so you can do. Honestly, septic inspections usually come the
Right.
same day.
Yeah.
And then, trying to think anything else.
We've been very busy, by the way. So
Oh my goodness, we have,
I have a question.
in the past week,
Yeah,
I
you've
probably
been out
like,
like
I
10
probably did
times.
like 15 perks.
Yeah.
Between ADUs and failures and this and
Every time I
that.
call, Dylan's out on a perk, Dylan's out on a septic, I'm going like, and I see him,
That problem.
some of them are going on.
Yeah,
So the other quick question is that truck that was parked on.
that is a system, and I went back there, it's good.
It's good, okay, fine.
Yep.
Cause I thought like, oh no, here goes again.
I just had a brain fart because
That's fine.
that's a system that's been like. So what he's referring to is there was a truck that was on the side of Blackstone Street
an
that had
excavator.
an excavator on the
I
back
thought
of
it
it.
was
And he
sweet.
called me and was like, hey, are they doing a septic system? And I was like, I don't know of any active septic systems on Blackstone Street. I drove down there. It actually was one. It's because it's a system they were dragging their feet due to logistical issues for weeks. So I kind of forgot about it because I was busy
Good,
with
I
everything
feel
else.
much better, Dylan.
But once I stopped by, I knew it was a system. I'm familiar. I already inspected it, actually. They got there, actually went in super fast. They literally did it today. They had the trucks right there, so I did the bottom inspection and the component already
The other
today,
thing
so it's basically done.
happens, it may not be septic, but then I get nervous because years ago I responded to, the guy put in a swimming pool, he dug up his entire septic system. The swimming guy,
Nice.
put in the whole pool. What is it?
Then
A
where are you
month
gonna use the
later.
bathroom?
No, a month later, the sewerage is running down the gas line easement, literally. So people are calling me, 5 houses on Gale Drive, hey, there's some smelly gray water with like floaters.
Yeah.
Well, the guy actually clipped the tank, so he took a part of the tank out, took the entire D-box
I
down,
didn't notice it.
took,
I just think he didn't care.
yeah, I don't know. Put in this lovely swimming pool,
Yeah, fix
I
it
mean,
every
big.
hole.
So at that time,
How deep the perk could be?
Huh?
How deep the perk, you tell me?
So when you
Well,
run a
it's
perk,
like
you
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 like
dig a 10-foot deep hole, that's your deep hole, and
That's your
then
deep hole.
really it kind of depends on what your most restrictive layer is,
Right.
because you're perking the most restrictive
Right.
layer. So that could be anywhere from 36 inches
Yeah.
deep to 48 inches deep. So I mean,
we
we're
used to say normally, if you look at the county.
safety wise, if it's
32
anything
to
beyond 48,
40.
you can't do it because you physically can't step foot into that hole.
Right.
Because then the sidewalls are too high and it's unsafe.
Right, so you have to put a,
We don't even do trench boxes for our perk test. It's not worth it.
No,
We just,
What you could do is excavate like a foundation.
you could either do that or you can dig it out and you can send it to a lab for what's called a sieve test, which
Correct,
is,
that
fun
should be-
fact, I found this out the other
That would
day.
be good.
Sieve tests are actually what literally every other state in the 50 states do
Do,
in
yeah.
order to determine the sizing of a leach field.
Right.
We are the only state that does perk tests.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's just
in
a,
the west,
What's the
kind
color
of
of
a-
the perk test in town?
what's the cost?
Yeah.
The permit cost is $100.
Right.
I have no idea how much.
How long is the perk test good for?
3 years, I believe. It varies.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it's 3.
The thing with the perk test though, is that generally they can be good for a while because it's not like the ground is gonna magically change.
Let me rephrase it. Perk test, you get your septic design, the engineers design the septic system.
Right.
Yes,
How long is that, once we sign it, how long is that septic
Oh.
design good for?
3 years. yeah.
3 years.
In 3 years?
However,
3 years.
usually we won't reperk it, like Dylan said. If there's no giant activity, like someone just decided to put in 129 houses.
Yeah.
And change the entire landscape. Once you change the landscape, water doesn't go the same way it used to.
Right.
That Mother Nature and geology, the glacier did. So, and generally speaking, I agree with Dylan. We used to say 32 inches in Bellingham is usually the A layer plus the B and B1 if it's weathered. And then down to 40, I haven't really.
That's usually where you're getting into
Yeah,
the sea.
yeah.
I've only had to do that like once,
Right.
but that's.
But in the old days, when it was one that was like 5 feet, because it's usually, you know,
Garbage.
it's garbage. Well, we dig it like in the old days, even because, not because of today you got the.
You give a wide enough hole, so if it caves in, you're still safe,
Right.
pretty much.
That's what we
That's,
said.
Well, there's the other thing too, is because the engineer and the health agent gotta go down there, they gotta witness it, they gotta put the water in.
Exactly.
Do that stuff.
so,
So when you're trying to get 2 people in a trench, it's gotta be water. Okay,
Take the wall out.
okay, so
Okay.
livestock regulation discussion.
so,
How many pigs
the
do they
really
come in?
only discussion that I have more so is just, I think. Instead of having a full-on discussion, I just wanted to present this to you guys. And just allow you guys to look through it, take this with you, read it. If you see anything now, we can talk about it. But what I was thinking,
The next meeting we approve it.
the next meeting we approve it, because in order to pass this as a regulation, we're going to have to hold a public hearing. And we would, because of that, we would have to properly notify the public.
Correct.
So we couldn't pass this tonight because we didn't notify the public of a public hearing.
Okay.
So that's why I'm thinking, look through it, let's chat about it. If there's anything glaring you guys see, let me know.
Well, one of the things I have a question on is why are we keeping as scheduled 2 meetings in July? Is it because of this?
It was, but we can change that. The other reason
Usually go to
why,
July, August.
the other reason, wait,
Well,
the other reason why is because we've been having a situation, you know about it, Deborah Lane,
Yeah.
because
I thought that was settled.
Oh,
different house,
different now.
Oh.
That's again?
no septic.
So, yeah.
So their neighbor to that house, failed septic system. It's just a leach field, it's gonna cost them around $30,000. Now. Their intention is to apply for the betterment loan, however, it gets a little funky because it is a triplex with triplicate ownership.
So it's 10,000 each on the owners,
Correct.
but one wants to pay it right away. One wants to wait, when one, I mean, it's very convoluted up there,
Yes.
And the contractor's not gonna do that.
but they have to work that out with the contract.
Correct.
Whether he wants to say, wait for the money, knowing it's coming for
Right.
us.
And it's, the contractor is John Vadney,
Okay.
so luckily, he's
Local.
he's
Yeah.
local, he's
Yeah.
more than knowledgeable of the
He's more
ins and
than
outs of this
willing to
betterment
use it.
program,
So,
he's
if-
dealt with it
If
before.
I say that we cancel the meeting on the 15th. In July, can we have the public hearing by the 1st, on the 1st?
Yeah.
Does that give us enough
Yeah.
time?
I have another thing too.
And if that,
Because that's 2 weeks, because we
Yeah.
would just have, we have to give 1 week
90
notice.
1 week, yeah, right.
So it was many days for public hearing.
No,
No,
Uh,
the-
can I-
when
all
I
right,
looked at
let me
it,
make
it
this
said-
motion.
Yeah, sorry,
Um,
sorry.
Let me
Hang
start
on
with-
just a second. Dylan, just remind them that, that meeting room is not available, so that would be a problem at a public hearing on the 1st, correct?
Good call.
So we cancel the 1st.
So we cancel the 1st and do it for the 15th.
Okay, I make a motion that we cancel the July 1st meeting.
Okay.
My birthday, I won't be in.
We'll still have,
15.
I mean, we'll still have 4.
Okay.
Okay.
That should be fine, right?
Yes.
'Cause
So I make a motion that we cancel the meeting on the 1st.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, so carries. So Dylan, to add to this, go ahead.
Real quick, oh, sorry, I just,
Question about August 19th.
okay,
We won't be there.
okay.
Okay, I make a motion that we cancel the August 19th meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carries.
Okay, I'd like now to make a motion that allows Dylan to approve a betterment loan for that triplex
Oh, yeah.
area.
Yeah.
When it comes in.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So I make that motion that the board approves it.
Right.
As long as it's all correct.
Right.
You have the
That way we
authority,
right.
you have the authority to approve it, and we will sign it at the next meeting.
Second.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained.
I just think
That
that's
was a great
fair.
idea. Great idea.
I think it's fair and it gets it done, so she's not in the office 15 or 20 times saying, when's it gonna get done?
You actually already answered my question, because that's the exact thing I was gonna suggest anyway, so great
So
job.
there you go.
So
Nice
I'm
think
like
alike.
to throw in the 15th could be a very, very big
Long meeting.
Uh,
All right, so I make a motion that we have a public
Hearing.
meeting on draft legislation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to read this.
Livestock.
Regulation to the Bellingham Board of Health minimum standards for keeping animals.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. So Dylan and I have discussed a few things. We've had wall-to-wall problems before Dylan. We've had them probably now for 6 years. 2 other health agents,
Infiltrator system.
infiltrators. What we did was we
Specific
changed the
technical
regulation
system.
from H10, which is the thin wall, to H20. But they still push the things in with the heavy machinery. And then the pipes bend, water can't go uphill, gravity. And then also, when they fill the veins full of sand, they don't function properly.
So.
So.
What it is. So you have a bed of sand,
Yeah.
which already is your first mistake in my opinion, but we'll continue.
But that's it.
You have a bed of sand, and then you
No sand.
have these call for sand, which is why I have an issue with it.
What's that?
They call for septic sand.
Right.
So you have a bed of septic sand, and then you have these chambers that are almost, think of like basically you cut a tire in half,
Right.
Shaped
It's
like
like
that.
ribs all
Yeah,
through.
half one.
right?
Right.
And it's got ribs all the way down it, and it's
Pipe
long,
on
like a
top,
cat, like a
second.
caterpillar. But it's like this, so it's probably about,
It's 4 feet.
probably about this long, super long, nice and tall. And what they do is they literally snap in together, form this long line. And in theory, what's supposed to happen is the septic effluent flows in, and it's just this big hollow chamber
Has
over
pipe,
sand.
right.
And it just flows into the sand,
Right.
and then it goes into the sand, gets filtered, and then once the biomat forms, it goes in and it filters, and it goes in, and it filters, and it goes in, and it filters. What's happening is that because they decided to put it in a bed of sand. The system, instead of staying on the bed of sand, immediately knifes down into the sand, and you lose the entire chamber
Right.
with which you're supposed to. Put septic effluent.
Yeah, it's not real cheap.
So
it's
almost
still like
every single time.
$15,000-$20,000.
Almost every single time we install one of these, what's happening is I show up to a site. And the excavators pulling them out, and they're literally filled with sand. They're either filled with sand, or I have a video on my phone. From the site that we were just talking about over at Deborah Lane, because they have them, what happens is. They surround them in sand too.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to perfectly flow out of the chambers, and it'll get filtered in the sand. That's not what happens. It gets about that far out of the chamber, forms a biomat, and then it seals. There's absolutely, you could literally, you could grab a scoop of sand a foot away from it, and it looks like beach sand. It's clean. You could literally throw it down on a beach and play in it. I would literally let my kids play in that if I wanted to. That's literally how safe it is.
So what do you
Because it's
wanna
not getting-
do?
I wanna ban them.
Right.
I wanna ban infiltrators. The issue is. infiltrators are currently approved. What is it, innovative or alternative system
innovative
at the
technology.
state level.
Right.
So if we were to approve it if we were to ban it at the town level. Don't we just have to ensure that don't we just have to like prove it beyond reasonable doubt or something like that, like?
Yeah.
Because we basically have to override the Massachusetts approval
We
and
can
say,
make it stricter.
Absolutely
We can't
not.
make it less.
You replace it with something else?
no, I say we ban it, I say, because there's,
Then we're gonna go back to the old fashioned
And,
stone.
and trenches. that-
there
Yeah,
are
that's
plenty
fine.
of,
I
there
make
are
a mo-
plenty of
I'll
other
make a motion.
systems.
Oh, there are other embedded technology.
There are plenty of other
What do you
systems
call it? What's the-
that can be used.
I think we should talk to the state and make sure we can do this.
Yeah, before we make any motions,
Almost, yeah.
this is just something I wanna talk to you guys about, because this is something that would have to,
I'd like to hear what the town council says.
Yeah.
And what the
I
state.
think I said
says.
this.
definitely,
I don't think we should vote on it tonight.
I agree.
I think we really need to look at it, because if we violate what the state says.
Yeah, you don't wanna,
If
They
I'm
may
not
come back and
mistaken,
not
we
give
should
it
be
to
able to get it out of our town if it's not working in our town.
Correct.
I mean, if he's going
Well,
to
it-
systems and they're being
We
condemned
can make it
because.
more strict. We can't make it
I
less
mean-
strict.
I think
we
either
just
way,
wrote that-
I don't know if that's more strict
but
or less
logistically,
strict.
Are we the only?
No, it's more.
Do other communities?
We're not
Well,
allowed.
I think.
Because I know the system you're talking about, because I have
But
that
everyone
domain.
needs
from 20,
Right.
15 years ago.
It is, across the
And the
board,
guy
you
that
ask any
installed it,
engineers, you ask any
no driving
installers, they
inspector,
hate them, they
They
hate
just don't do
installing
nothing
them.
on it, because your system's gonna move.
Bingo.
Dylan, have you seen any systems with sand recently?
Yes,
Why are they doing it with sand? Only because of the state law?
that
That's
is,
the manufacturer.
that is the
That's right.
manufacturing specs, so when the manufacturer, with these innovative or alternative systems, right? Unlike traditional pipe and stone, in order to be able to legally install one of those, you have to go to their school where they give you their booklet
Right.
and they teach you
Yeah.
their specs and how to install their system.
Yeah.
So it's the actual people at Infiltrator telling them. The scientists say you have to put it in sand, so put it in sand, cause that's what
You
it's
can't put it in
designed.
stone.
So how many installers in Bellingham certified?
I
And are
think
we gonna take away business?
it's not that we're taking away business, it's that we're making them, we're making the engineers. Design more effective systems.
Right.
But then they won't use that system from Infiltrator.
Correct,
Is that correct?
correct.
So are we putting people out of work?
No,
If I go to the school, I'm trained in the filter system. And say, this is what we're gonna do, I can't install that system anymore.
Oh, but you're also installed for,
You
you're
do
also,
another system.
you've also been installed.
No, I understand, but
But
all
yes.
I install is Infiltrator.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be put out of work? And I don't think we should put anybody out of
I agree
work.
with that end of it, but
I totally,
I
in
just
my
don't wanna
mind, I'm
hurt
thinking-
somebody.
I agree with you, I just,
you put a key
And I
be
behind,
honest with you,
understand
I
what you're
don't-
saying, but
yeah,
Dylan.
we
you
went
put
to the
key behind it?
classes
Right.
and they talked about the
They
Infiltrator
did,
system.
yeah.
Oh, you- please.
So
I
I
see
think
what
we'd
you're
be
saying,
putting
I don't
people
know.
out of work.
No, what happens is we typically have, the people that do
Can't
conventional
click on top
systems
and
have a lot
keyboard.
of equipment,
I don't know,
because it requires that equipment.
it needs.
What I used to see is
a
guy pull up with a truck,
cause that's.
fill
where
water
the
sand,
filtration
dump
is.
it.
It's still gonna have.
You won't even have an
because
excavator,
you're
you'll get a
gonna
little
do
bobcat
these things
going
on
across.
keyboards.
And then he'll put these things in
I
there, it's just
I know,
pipes.
I
And
know
then-
exactly what
yeah,
you're talking about.
then
the
he puts,
system I
yeah,
have,
the sand on
Yeah.
it,
But we.
and he
put it
drives
in
all the
the
way
bed,
over, and he
Correct.
crushes them,
But
initially,
there's a
crush
storage
them for him.
bed. of
They wouldn't even pass
3/4
one week,
Yeah.
on the
we had
wall.
some.
Yeah.
And.
You know,
That's all-
yes,
that's
a
really
conventional
But
system,
that's not
25.
happening now.
No,
The guy
he
told me,
insisted on
you'll never have to
820.
worry about it.
They put the 820 in, now what they do is they drive them in, and like Dylan says, 2 inches away, you've
Never
got
asked them.
thousands of dollars in
Hey,
sand,
Vin,
it's all using this, sorry.
what if instead of banning them,
Have a
could we,
Guys,
could we
Modify.
modify.
Could we modify them and say
Put
you have to
keyboard.
put them in, you have to put them in pea stone?
I mean,
Put the piece
my
down
system up
first and the
north,
system. then
that's a
put-
But see, that would stop them from doing the Infiltrator system because they have to go by their specs.
Which is, that's the
Oh, yeah, they
issue.
can't buy with it.
And if we do that, I'm telling you, we're gonna be putting people out of business.
Okay.
in Bellingham.
Yeah.
And I don't think we wanna hurt people.
No,
What
we
if we
don't,
ask
but
the
the other
company
thing
if
too
they
is we're
could-
getting people
company
putting in
themselves,
these cheap.
If they got we tell them our problem. You call the company and say, listen, this is Town of Bellingham Board of Health,
Right.
this is the issue that we're having in our town.
Right.
Do you have a system, your system,
Is there a way that
which,
can be
which
modified?
has bottoms on it, which will stop them from coming in? It might be as simple as they put a slab 6 inches wide that.
But they're
track-
doing this all over the country. Why are we the only ones asking?
We don't know that.
That,
Well, I have a feeling we will be.
and to your
But that's the
point,
question. I mean, there's no harm in making a phone call.
to your point, that's the reason why we actually did pass a regulation that makes it so that if you do use these, you have to use the heavy duty version. And the reason for that is because the feet are physically larger on the heavy duty version.
I mean, and even at that point, I mean, you're saying it's gonna move to ground, I'd have to see that, I don't know the system that well. But I would have to see it, but I'm saying then you can turn on, you can say, I want it placed on this block, and you buy 20 blocks.
Well,
And it costs
we
us
took the
$60.
course, it was
Mia.
not the first one, it was the first one we went through, not the second one.
Not the same.
And they went through that whole infiltrator system.
Correct.
No one in that room asked about sand. I'm just telling
You
you,
think they're putting in?
there was 60 or 70 installers
There
there,
were.
Yeah.
and not one mentioned anything about sand. So
So,
I'm not sure we should be mentioning anything about sand.
Yeah.
You wanna call and ask, that's fine,
well, I'd like to call.
So what you're saying is that-
but I don't wanna put anybody out of
No,
business.
I agree.
I'm
I'm
telling you right
not gonna put
now.
anybody out
agree.
of business by making a phone call.
However,
I mean-
though, you gotta look at it this way here, every failure, especially if they're not on septic, it's still costing them, even if they're on the septic loan program, it's destroying the program, because now they have to reinstall. You can't tell me a septic system can't go 20 years, I say 60, but 20 years, and they're getting 10, 5, 12. Really?
There's a problem.
And $20,000 wasted, totally gone.
The
Because
problem,
the person who did it wrong. Maybe violated best management practices, but who's gonna catch them
the
when they
inspector,
go and say, well, I can buy infiltrators. And I can do the cost cheaper than Johnny, who's gonna charge 30, I'll do it for 20. And it doesn't last 20 years, it lasts less than 10.
So I'm gonna make a phone call, and I
That
think
blows my
the
mind,
other thing is,
you're ripping people.
I think instead of looking at it from the perspective of trying to ban them, we should look into it from the
hold them in
perspective
place.
of modifying them or
Modifying.
changing them.
And not us modifying them, that, they're the engineers, I mean.
Yeah, the engineers would have to reflect that,
I mean,
so,
we did
yeah.
this with
I'm
Rob.
I mean,
happy
the
with
other
that.
thing we could do, Dylan, I don't know if they'll do this. You have a certified installer putting your system in, right?
Yeah.
I know Presby will come out. It fails in an unbelievably short time. Presby will come out and say, guy didn't do it right. They'll pull his license, and I don't know if they'll replace it for free.
Will Infiltrator do the same?
I don't know,
I'll
that's
reach out
what I'm
to you.
wondering.
Yeah, I'll call.
I think Infiltrator needs
I
to
gotta
get
call-
out there in
yeah.
the trenches and say, this contractor did it wrong,
Yeah.
and they pay for it. And then they rip his license away, so we have one less gypsy installed.
Listen, I got the guy, I got that gentleman that you're referring to, Rick, that was at that seminar.
Right.
I have his card pinned
Okay.
up on my board right now.
Let's
Give me a
do it.
call. Bang, bang, boom, done.
I
expect
only
you-
wanted to make the statement that we were there.
Yeah.
And there was at least 50, and I think there
Easily.
was 60 installed.
Right.
Yeah,
Not one of them brought this up, and I think that's where it would be brought up.
No,
if there
because
was a problem.
you're gonna find that
Well, maybe
people
you're
at
gonna
those
tell
meetings don't wanna be the first one to say something, cause
No,
I've been.
no, everybody was saying a lot of stuff.
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
meeting. They all get up, they all talk, there's a lot of stuff going on. There might be one or two that sit there and, I'm not gonna ask, but there was a lot of
Yeah, there's a
people
lot of
saying
questions.
a lot of
Because
I've been
things.
to a lot of meetings with a lot of different things, and I watch people, and it's like, my God, open your mouth.
Yeah, no, at these meetings, they
Yeah, they're
do
pretty,
that,
they're the rough
and
guys.
they ask a ton of questions.
Yeah, they do.
it's basic, it's like a blue collar seminar.
Yeah,
It's basically a bunch of just blue collar septic
It's a bunch
guys.
of
No,
guys
no,
that,
no,
right.
you know, get in the trench.
We're the oddballs, we're the people who are
Yeah,
health
no,
agents.
It's a bunch of guys that get in the trench.
Right.
So I just
No,
have a hard
maybe.
time thinking to
No,
myself,
maybe, Rick.
they didn't
know it's
bring
a
it up.
problem,
Yeah.
And they just say, I don't think they'll open that door.
Well,
Or the health might do something strange, or state might.
Yeah.
when you have the people that design the system in front of you, you ask the question.
Yeah,
So if we
Like,
went,
you could say like, hey, I'm having a little problem with the sand getting into
They
the
already
thing.
did. It was
somebody would have said that.
Someone would have said,
I
well,
think.
you're doing it wrong. I think you're right. Someone should have said that,
That's the
and
plan.
maybe didn't,
Yeah.
because
I think
they're
that'll
not
work.
having any problems. I
Move it.
find out.
I find it hard to believe because he's had the problem.
We've had almost 10 years.
It's the only hand.
Okay, so, yeah. July meeting, we already did that?
Yeah.
We modified it, okay. Birthday, 2025 is on hold.
I make a motion, we move it to
September.
Saturday in September, 2025.
After the students are back,
Yeah,
Second.
after the students are back at school.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
I oppose, okay, so carried.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No, I got bills.
Bill.
I got bills. Sorry, I make a motion that we accept an Amazon bill for
Rick slowing down.
$64.15.
Second,
All those in favor?
Hey.
say aye.
I make a
Aye.
motion that we approve Solomon VNA for $630.
second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained.
I make a motion that we accept pay constable $100, William Roberts.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
I think that's everything that I have. Okay, we have to start signing.
Right, got it. That's what you were saying, Rich. I know that.
Could be anything.
You guys just wanna,
make a motion to adjourn.
thank you.
Okay,
Second,
second.
all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed,
First of all, you can't make a
Good
motion
night.
and second it
Right.
yourself.
No, that's not.
you did it.
I was just opening a voice.
Yeah,
I helped her go.
that was good.
I didn't raise my voice that good, right?
Change his voice. You have to go a little.
That
louder.
That was good.
She's doing cough drops tonight.
I did wait till I heard her though, because I did hear him say. Yeah. but
No,
she checked in.
listen, I gave me a chuckle. I'm happy.
Are we all fine?
All right. That's great.
All right. Rick, when I met with Ralph Tanks, with the auto company,
Oh, yeah.
okay, we have what's known as. a-
Wait, hold on.
And.
Zoom meeting's still open. Gotta say goodbye to Laura.
Bye,
Bye,
Laura.
Laura. Have a good night.
Ralph Tanks. you got me-
And